Okay, so this is video number 3 of a continuing series here discussing modern mechanisms and systems. There really is no subject under which these videos can go because it's like, these are families, and, you know, I have a family, I have parents, and I have issues with them, and so all these are just families. But when you sacrifice your family and you sell them out to, say, gold or materialism or any ideal, even if it's communism, any belief, if you sell your family out to a church or whatever, that really kind of alters the family. So there's a name attached to it, yes, and you may even incorporate your family under 12 different names or something. You know, it's different things people can do. But I'm talking about families that are real and that have not sold out to any principle. The family should unite around the idea that mom and dad are the bosses. And, you know, so that means there's a family unit. Now, we have other types of unions where you have 2 moms or 2 dads or whatever. And, you know, I don't have any problem with any of that really per se. From an economic standpoint, all families are pretty much the same. But when you incorporate, then you become human resources. Families made of human beings are different than families made of human resources. Okay, let's just actually talk about that for a second here, because it's worth making the point a little better. So if you have human being, they don't need anything else, okay? They're just being. That's what creation creates from this person. Creates a human being. And that's from the divine, which we can call creator. So creator and you can even sort of like, let's embellish this with a little bit of artwork like that. Because I just realized that the sun and its rays actually kind of look like, yeah. Alright, so anyway, you have human being, but then you have human resource. Now, a resource needs something more. What are some resources that we can think of? Well, we have pork. We have metals. And we have humans. Okay. And under the subheading of humans, we can have slaves. Property. Debt is human. Debt is a resource that can allow us to lever off of and work with. So there's different ways that humans can become resources. But a human resource is not the same as a human being, because when you're born and the moment that you are conceived, well, the question is, you know, do we say that conception is when you start your being? Are you being when you're just being a fetus? If you are being a fetus, are you a human being a fetus? That is the question. I'm not going to tell you what it is. I don't have a womb. I don't have any idea. It's for women to decide. And it looks like a lot of these women that we're talking about have aligned themselves with occult families. So their wombs are basically sold out. I don't mean to state it too harshly, but that's the truth. So they don't produce human beings so much as they produce human resources. Okay, so as I mentioned in the previous 2 videos, this information, this little knowledge path that I'm on is kind of initiated by this YouTube video from another user whose name is this guy right here. Got this pyramid from a video produced about this guy. So as I was mentioning in the last video, I'm just going to recap here. And it says right here in this man's testimony about how occult families rule the world. Oh, camera. Work with me here. There we go. Says, I'll focus this a little better. The Illuminati knows people are going to blah, 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 blah. The only problem is that most of the people in Illuminati aren't Jews. Their founders were Jews by birth, but not by religion. Most of its leaders, except for the Rothschilds, are Gaelic, Scotch or French Gaelic. It's got nothing to do with Jews. So we have the Rothschilds are not Gaelic, yet they're at the center of it all. So the Scotch or French Gaelic families that he's mentioning are on the periphery, with Rothschild not controlling it. But they're all Jews by birth. The founders were Jews by birth. So it's exported Judaism versus Druidism. So really, when you get to the crux of what's being said here, it's Druids versus Talmud is what's being said here. Because you could say that Scotch Gaelic, there's too much to go into in this video, but I'll go into it later. I want to keep moving forward here. David Livingstone writes, Elizabeth Hirschman and Donald Yates, in their study When Scotland Was Jewish, documents the Jewish origin of many of Scotland's leading families, beginning with the Sinclairs and the Stuarts, but also with the families of Forbes, Bruce, Campbell, Gordon, Caldwell, Fraser, Leslie, Christie, Kennedy, and Cohen. And so that the Jews or Judaism got to, or Talmudism, whatever you want to call it, because they've merged it all together, although as you go back in time they separate, but the merging is a recent thing. Yeah, okay, so Scott families are Jewish. I don't even know what that means. I mean, they feel now that they can get some DNA proof that this or this person is Jewish. It's like, give me a break, please, you know. But I'm sure that all these bloodline occulters, they know that it's true. They have, who knows what they have. I hope that they come clear before they go down. So, to continue, Rothschild leads the Illuminati, and in every country they have a family, being the head of the Illuminati. In the United States, we have the Rockefellers. David Rockefeller is both the head of the Council of Foreign Relations and the Trilateral Commission, which is the name of the Illuminati within the United States. So the Trilateral Commission is the name of the Illuminati, according to this guy, who's dead. So he was murdered. He was also imprisoned, and he was probably a mind control MKUltra, victim, I'm guessing. So anyway, let's pull this over here and get a little more light. Like that. There we go. So, as it says right here, on the top of a pyramid you will see a capstone with an eye on it. The capstone is the Rothschild family, or tribunal, that rules the Illuminati. They were the creators of it. The eye is Lucifer, the god in their voice. The first three tops blocks are on every pyramid. The top block is what goes to the Council of 13, called the German Druid Council. They only take out orders from the Rothschild and nobody else. That's these people at the top here. They only take orders from the Rothschild and no one else. And so these are all these people that circle this here. Okay, so that's who he's talking about. Their private priesthood. The Council of 33 is directly under them. That is the 33 highest Masons in the world. The Council of 500 is some of the richest people, etc., etc. The Golden Dawn is the organization of witchcraft, the fourth block up there, and it's the Rothschilds' private covenant. Covenant is the word I was thinking of, and coven is the root word of covenant, which is a very interesting truth. Words have multiple meanings, of course. C.S. Lewis and J.R.R. Tolkien were both members of Golden Dawn. Grand Druid Isaac Bonowitz and the ACLU started an organization to sue Christians who defame the occult. Very interesting. Todd, that's the guy who's making this statement here, includes Scientology and the National Council of Churches in the Illuminati structure. So it goes into talk about how his defection and how it was all supposed to work and everything, but I just wanted to give the context of what's being discussed here. So, having covered that, and it's been basically more than half an hour if you've stuck with these videos, and it's enough time to really process it all. I don't really have anything to say about it at this point other than to just continue to dig deeper. getting back to the original point of the first video, these are the shareholders of the Federal Reserve Bank. And these are foreign families. And basically the top families in the U.S. Oh man, this is just terrible, this camera setup. I gotta do better next time. Yeah. What more can I say? I mean, the Federal Reserve runs our country, and these are foreign families, and it's perhaps, at least circumstantially, evident. Although I haven't provided much evidence, I will do so before these videos are over. At least, you know, even that evidence can be taken circumspect. I don't want you to believe anything based on what I say. But I would be doing you a disservice if I didn't share my research with you. And I don't find any evidence that anyone's investigating any of this, so that means to me that it's something worth looking at. And the people in power, of course, will laugh at that because they'll say, if there's no evidence, why would you waste your time? And I would say, well, I can give you a very simple piece of evidence, and that is, the inflation of the Dow Jones Industrial over the course of the 20th century. So, if we want to really get into it, we can explain the fact that, the Dow Jones has been inflated by rich people, and they wanted to get richer. And who can blame them, really? I mean, that's, the nature of having money. You want more. It feeds itself in this way. So if you could make funny money, you would do it. So the fact that we're in this financial crisis, and these are the people who own the bank that's supposed to provide the stability, and yet we don't have that stability. And also there's a trust relationship inside the U.S. that's called Social Security, which I'm going to get into, but, at this point I just wanted to lay the foundation for where this all came from. And I'll refer back to these papers and other pieces of information as I continue. So let's just take a second here. There's 3 videos, and let's basically make some notes here like this. So we have video 1 that I did in the series, where you have its intro and FRB shareholders. 2, explanation of John Todd info. Chris Collins is his AKA. And then finally this one, where we're examining the structure of the families and relation to each other. So these are the 3 videos that I've made, and I'm hoping that you find them informative. I'm probably going to make more, but at this point this is about all the time I want to devote to this. Well, I may just make a 4th one, but I'm going to upload these 3, see if anybody has any comments, and I'll take it from there in later videos. Thanks for paying attention. And as far as the final message, I would say, concentrate on what's real. I mean, if I've been talking here for 45 minutes and you've listened, you'll notice that I haven't really told you what to think. I'm just basically explaining what's potentially out there. So we'll go into detail on more of this later with the next series of videos, particularly the history of the Rothschild family and also the developments of the last 300 years and beyond. And but the decisions will be yours to make as far as your final conclusions. So you have to be free to think that this is all just a bunch of nonsense. So I hope I've left that conclusion open for you. Okay, well, if you have any comments, just go ahead and put them in my video, or more preferably send me an email so that I can correspond with you and then compose a suitable video reply. Thanks a lot. All right, and let truth ring out.